I'm Keon.
This is Triple Play. This is Trust Your Doctor, that podcast where we get it wrong on the first line, because this week we watched Destiny of the Daleks.
Written by Terry Nation in his final script for the show.
Right. Directed
his,
by Ken...
quote-unquote.
Ken Grieve, right. We'll get into that in a second. Directed by Ken Grieve.
And aired in September 79.
So, Terry Nation returning to the show for the first time since Genesis of the Daleks, which
right, in
was
season
a good script.
12.
Right.
So, right now we're
ago?
in season 17. Yeah, about 5 years ago, I guess. One season a year, so... yeah, we're now in 17, obviously, right off the heels of Key to Time. And, so... well, do you want to explain...
Well, just the fact that multiple commentaries and people claim that it's not actually a Terry Nation script, that it's a Douglas Adams, it's like 75 to 90% a Douglas Adams script rather than a Terry Nation script. How much of that is true or not? Well, we can't really say, because we're not experts, and two, we haven't talked to any of these people involved with the show in that time. So, but the book that was published while Terry Nation was alive, and he didn't dispute the claim. So
maybe you just didn't read it.
Well, I found out that after this script, he wrote no more because he moved to America. And then he wrote some scripts.
Yeah, we don't write here. No, I'm just kidding.
He wrote some scripts for MacGyver, which I didn't know.
Huh.
So there you go. Interesting little, tidbit.
So it starts off with K9
with laryngitis.
getting laryngitis. It's not John Leeson anymore.
It's not even the new actor in this one. It's Roy Skelton, who does the voice of the Daleks, who does the voice for the cough.
Yeah, well, that's his only line, the cough. And the doctor says, "My God, you have laryngitis. I didn't even know that was possible," or something like that. And then Astra walks in. I guess she's stowed away in the TARDIS. No, actually, it's just Romana.
Yeah, the doctor's like, "What do you think you're doing? What are you doing here? Romana, where are you?" And she's like, "I am Romana. I'm regenerating." The doctor's like, "What?"
I guess they can choose who they... Well, this actually contradicts the Doctor's regenerations, because he's always been surprised, when he first regenerated from, John Pertwee to Tom Baker. He looked in the mirror and he's like, "Whoa, that's me?"
I mean, even from Troughton to Pertwee, and also Troughton to a lesser extent, but maybe the Doctor's just unskilled in his regeneration technique. Romana's just this highly skilled Time Lord / lady who has the ability to completely control her regenerations.
Well, apparently so, because she tries out a few other regenerations when the Doctor mentions that it's probably not okay to regenerate into Astra. One of them looks like the Doctor. That was the best one. She should have stayed
in
the Doctor's costume.
Romana.
Yeah, no, that was her when she took off the hat and was like, "Oh, she actually decided to stay as Astra anyway."
Yeah, she comes out dressed in the Doctor's costume, and the Doctor made a snide comment to K9, like, "It's not what's on the outside that matters, K9." And then Romana comes in dressed like the Doctor, and he's like, "Oh, good, you look good." And she's like, "Yeah, because it's not what's on the outside that matters, right?" And he's like, "Yes."
He said, "Well, it's good to get it right."
She takes off the hat, and he's like, "Oh, well, at least go put on some other clothes."
So she just palette swaps.
Well,
that was interesting. Lalla Ward's costume in this serial was just a pink version of Tom Baker's,
with
pretty
a
much.
white scarf.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love that frock coat.
Yeah.
It's one of the best costumes we've had on the show so far, in my opinion. And I don't know why I love it so much. Maybe just because it's so out there.
Why does anyone love anything?
There's been, I was reading up on this. Apparently there's been several explanations posed as to why she can change her body. One of them being that
it's just funny.
Quote unquote Romana in this serial is actually like a humanoid aspect of the TARDIS who'd been getting jealous of Romana, and then she like froze Romana in another room and pretended to be Romana for the whole serial, and then at the end like made Romana regenerate into Lalla Ward. Another explanation is that the Guardians turned the key to time into Romana and disguised her as Astra.
Yeah, silly fans. I'm sure it's that they just didn't care about continuity at all and thought it was funny, which is perfectly okay.
Precisely what it was. Douglas Adams just thought it was funny and wanted to play off of the Fourth Doctor choosing his outfit scene from Pertwee to Baker.
So yeah, they materialize in a rock quarry. But it's okay because after they get out of the rock quarry, you realize they're on the Jedi steps. So it's all right.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's okay because Romana's like, where are we? And the Doctor's like, well, let's find out on the scanner. And he opens the scanner. He's like, oh, look, rocks. And he closes the scanner. And I was like, yeah.
Douglas Adams.
This is going to be an interesting season. Just right off the bat, this is going to be an interesting season.
Or maybe not. Maybe it'll pull a season 16 and start great, but end
poorly,
although I loved Armageddon Factor, of course.
I mean, you love it, but you can freely admit that it's a poor ending to the arc.
The wrap-up to Key to Time was just not good. But anyway, we're past that, thankfully.
We've moved on. We've mended our friendship.
They leave the TARDIS, and they see a ship descend.
And land.
And drill into the ground.
And she wants to really make sure that it's not going anyway. So the Doctor and Romana...
they actually see that little burial first.
Yeah,
they see some people carrying a dead body and they bury it and they're like, that's weird.
Yeah. So they decide, well, maybe it'd be better if we just go back to the TARDIS. So they don't know where they are because we mentioned it last week, but they have a randomizer on the TARDIS, so to find out where they are, they have to get out the TARDIS and find out where they are. So they're going back to the TARDIS, and then there's a rock slide that buries the TARDIS, and like, well, guess we're not going back to the TARDIS right now, even though they just dig it out later.
How they resolve that is questionable, but we'll get there. So that's when they see the ship, and they decide to go investigate. And that's when they meet the Movellans, I guess they were called.
It's when the Doctor meets the Movellans.
Oh, right, because Romana goes off on her own.
Well, because...
I'm sure she won't get captured or anything.
A column falls on the Doctor and traps him, and she sends Romana back to go get K9.
Yeah,
so that he can escape.
Yeah, and that's when Romana gets captured.
Well, Romana runs away from the stave and then gets captured. Is the cliffhanger. The Doctor gets captured immediately by the Movellans.
Yeah, Romana's being tailed by someone, and then the cliffhanger to one is the Daleks show up and capture her. But do we meet the Movellans in one at all? I don't know.
They free the Doctor.
Oh, yeah, they free the Doctor. The Movellans, I guess they're supposed to look like ancient Egyptians, kind of, because they had that eyeliner and they had the hairstyle.
They're like robo dreadlocks.
Yeah. And they tell the Doctor where they are.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Skaro.
Yeah.
Tell the Doctor he's on Skaro.
The Doctor freaks out. He's like, Skaro? And I wondered what era they were in at first, but then I realized that I've completely stopped caring or even trying to follow the
Dalek chronology.
Yeah, so...
Well, this serial is really convenient for the Dalek chronology based on what happens at the end of episode 2.
Yeah, well...
more so than basically every other Dalek serial so far. Episode 2 ends with Romana getting captured by the Daleks. She's like, oh no, I'm getting captured by the Daleks.
And it begins with them taking her to their little ship themselves. She wakes up next to, I don't know what they're called, but it's one of those lights they use on set. And I guess they got it in the shot.
Like a stage light?
I mean, it wasn't like a hanging light. It was, I don't know what it's called. It's like a lamp, but it points down.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
She wakes up next. I don't know if that was just supposed to be part of the assorted bric-a-brac in the room or if they just got it in the shot, but that's what I noticed.
Right, so
she's freaking out.
Well, obviously she's been captured by the Daleks. Who wouldn't?
I don't know. I feel like Mary Tam first Romana, wouldn't have freaked out as much as Lalla Ward.
We probably could easily find out because Mary Tam Romana meets the Daleks in an audio drama.
We should listen to that. I kind of miss Mary Tam. I mean, we mentioned this before we started recording. We can't really judge Lalla Ward yet, but I don't know.
I think it'll be the same as with the Doctor. I think after a couple serials.
After a while, you're like, yeah, it's not as bad as I thought it was.
After a couple serials, we'll be like, oh yeah, no, this is Romana. You know, it's the same thing we did with Pertwee, same thing we did with Baker, Troughton. It's basically a cycle.
Pertwee to a lesser extent.
Pertwee just took a little while longer.
But anyway, they submit her to some sort of truth
machine.
Machine.
They want to know why she's there.
And
I think they know she's a Time Lord / lady.
I don't know. But then I guess the Movellans at this point reveal that they also want... The Doctor finds out that they want what the Daleks want, and he has an idea of what the Daleks are doing back on Skaro after their civilization had already been destroyed.
Right.
He has an idea, and he thinks the Movellans also want that. And he and a couple of Movellans, their leader, Cheryl... Wow, didn't realize. Anyway, it's not Sheryl. It's spelled differently, but yeah, Cheryl. And Lan and what's her face, Agella, something like that. They all go.
Yeah, Agella.
They all go to the Dalek ship, which is nearby, I suppose.
Well, the Dalek ship / city.
They're excavating. The Daleks are excavating a buried Khaled city. Yeah. So I guess it was destroyed in Genesis. So this most closely ties to Genesis, which was the previous Dalek serial, which makes sense.
Also the previous Terry Nation serial, so, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Meanwhile, Romana has been put to work on the slave workforce.
Yeah. Which the Daleks seem to really like employing every time they show up.
I guess they're supposed to be humans in this serial?
Well, no, because a couple of them, the two slaves that she gets to talking to tell her what planet they're from. I guess but...
Well, I guess it's kind of a continuity error then, because at the very end of the serial, the what's his name that had been working with the Doctor said, oh yeah, you're going to be taken back to my home planet.
He was from Earth, but the rest of them were just from random places.
Okay, well, they're digging. They're trying to dig for whatever the Daleks are digging for. Diggy hole.
We already knew what they were digging for.
Yeah, so but the reveal was decent.
Yeah, it was. I would have liked it I did like it, but I would have been like, whoa, if I hadn't already known.
Well, before the Doctor and the Movellans actually get down there, Romana decides to escape by faking her death, by stopping her hearts.
Yeah, her two friends that she meets down there kind of hint like, oh, the only way you'll get out is by dying. And were they sort of trying to hint to her, like, pretend to be dead, you'll make it out?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Because I would assume someone would have tried that already, and the Daleks can obviously scan to see if your heart's still beating or if you're still alive. I think Romana just had one up on them because just so happens she just has the ability to stop her hearts.
Yeah, another convenient Time Lord ability.
So she just collapses, and for a moment you're like, oh. The Daleks are like, she is dead. And you're like, oh, okay. So they take her away and bury her.
We find out what that little procession was at the beginning, is them burying someone who had died.
Yeah, so while the Doctor's going out with the Movellans, he stumbles upon her grave and is like, no, Romana. And he starts frantically digging up her grave. Because I guess he's just in denial. Because he's found out at this point that Romana was captured by the Daleks because the person who was tailing her was
Tyson.
Was an escaped slave of the Daleks, and he wanted to know what Romana was doing there, and she got scared, and that's how she got captured.
Yeah. Tyson has joined leagues with the Movellans and the Doctor, and his whole idea is to arm the slaves somehow and
start a revolt.
Yeah.
But then Romana's just like, hey, I'm still alive, Doctor. And the Doctor's like, oh yeah, obviously. I knew that. Romana's like, yeah, I stopped my hearts. Learned how to do it at Time Lord Academy. Yeah, so I actually had a dream.
I don't remember that.
About Time Lord Academy. I actually had a dream about this specific scene. I think this is the first time it's happened for Doctor Who.
We've come too far.
And I was going to say,
I
think it is the first indication that my sanity is starting to slip away. So yeah, that also played. I thought it was a 6-part serial for like a day for some reason, but it's not. It's 4
Thank
parts.
God.
Terry Nation.
Hey, one thing I really liked about this serial is they didn't waste any time. They really just got right down to it and didn't muck around at all.
But at the same time, they spaced it out well. Like they
didn't feel rushed.
They didn't drop the big reveal at the beginning of episode 1. They left it till the middle of the serial so that it could drive the like downslope of the serial, so to speak.
Yeah, well, plus the character they reveal is pretty interesting. So
they decide to go to the city because the Doctor knows what he believes he knows what they're looking for, and he believes he knows what level it's on. It's probably level 3, I think he says.
Something like that. But the Daleks have forgotten how to get there, so...
I think it's level 4, because I think he said the Daleks are digging down from level...
No, it's 3, because...
3, but there's a cavern to 5, and you can go up.
No, it was... There's a passageway from 1 to 4, and from there you can just go up to 3, but the Daleks are just digging down to 3.
The numbers are irrelevant.
No, they're not. They're the main point.
No, the numbers are irrelevant. All you need to know is the Daleks is digging down, and the Doctor's going to go up.
So yeah, that's what they do, and lo and behold, they find who else but Davros in his cobwebbed state.
Not played by... who played him previously? Was it
no idea.
Terry Malloy? Or was it David Wisher? I remember looking at Davros, trying to memorize all the actors who've played it, and failing horribly. I think it was Michael.
Hey, we messed up on the first line, right?
Michael Wisher played Davros in Genesis.
Yeah, and here it's something good.
It's David Gooderson.
David Gooderson. I honestly didn't remember I'm sure there's some differences in how he's played, but it's been quite a while.
The big difference is in his voice. I think if you went back and listened to the Genesis Davros now and then listen to this one, you would definitely notice it, because in Genesis he had more of a robotic tinge to his voice, because what they were trying to do, if you remember, we talked about this on the show, they were trying to get a medium between the Dalek voice and the human voice. Yeah. And in this, there was just no roboticness to his voice, like, at all. Just sounded like Gooderson saying his lines.
He still sounded evil, though.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think I prefer Michael Wisher's Davros, though.
I'd have to go back and listen to it.
I was curious to know why they cast David Gooderson and not Wisher for this one. So I went and looked it up. Apparently Michael Wisher was busy in Australia while they were recording the serial. So the director was like, guess I'll just cast David Gooderson. Next best thing. Don't know what train of thought led them to cast David Gooderson. Maybe he was famous.
Maybe he
Britain
just...
at the time. I don't know.
Maybe he just tried out for the role and they liked him.
Yeah, Michael Wisher was busy in Australia. So in episode 3, he wakes up, still alive somehow. It's revealed to be hundreds of years after Genesis.
Yeah, which, I mean, the cobwebs would kind of clue you into that. Actually, you'd think he'd be more covered in cobwebs and dust if he hadn't been moved in centuries, but he seems okay. They actually don't do anything to wake him up. He just kind of starts moving on his own, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't really care. I'm sure there's some people out there who find that to be a problem.
Right, so the doctor and co take Davros into this back room.
Yeah, they start wheeling him around. No. I mean, maybe that might have been the better idea, but no, they don't do that. They start wheeling him around and talking to him like he's an old friend. And he greets the doctor like, oh, it's the doctor. You don't look any different than the time I last saw you. I guess he knows it's been centuries. And the doctor's like, I guess a centuries-long nap hasn't cured your megalomania. So, yeah, that's the Daleks we're looking for, and strangely enough, that's what the Movellans were looking for, too. I wonder why.
Well, the Movellans didn't know it was Davros, because there's a scene where, I think it's Agella asks the Doctor, hey, so who is Davros? And the Doctor's like, he's the creator of the Daleks. And they're like, oh, so that's what the Daleks were looking for. The Movellans were looking for the same thing as the Daleks, in the sense that they were looking for something to break the stalemate. But they weren't looking specifically for Davros.
Well, maybe based on what we learn later, the programmed for a day thing, maybe just she doesn't know it, and perhaps Cheryl does. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. I'm just throwing that out there. But
the way I interpreted it was that they didn't know it was Davros. They just wondered what the Daleks wanted because they knew the Daleks were trying to gain an advantage in their centuries-long war, and the Movellans wanted the advantage first.
Yeah, spoiler, the Movellans are at war with the Daleks, and they've been at war forever. And neither side has done anything, really.
Neither side is good either. Both of them want to conquer the galaxy. I think the Doctor resolves at the end to just leave him in a stalemate.
So yeah, they try and make their escape. Actually, they tried to make their escape before, and one of the Movellans got shot. And the Doctor tries to go help him, but Cheryl and Agella say he's already dead and that it's against their custom to let aliens see the dead, so they just move on. That was prior to finding Davros.
You're right.
And now they've gone into a little cellar type thing.
Yeah, like a storeroom, I guess.
Yeah.
It's got a back door.
Yeah,
Romana, like a back entrance.
Romana and what's his face, Tyson, leave to go. They go to get the Movellan ship.
They go to get the Movellans.
Yeah, and the Doctor decides to stay behind with Davros because they can't take him for some reason. It's too dangerous to leave him by himself.
Because the exit is up into the ceiling.
Yeah,
it requires climbing up things, and Davros is kind of in a chair.
Yeah, the first of two instances where
I think it was
climbing.
the second actually. I think the other one happened before.
Oh yeah, that was actually one of my. I wrote this down on my quotes page that I'm keeping for the fourth Doctor's timeline, because if you don't know, we keep quotes that we talk about when the Doctors regenerate. So one of my favorites from this serial, or just one of the ones I wrote down, was if you're supposed to be the superior race of the universe, that part actually isn't grammatically correct, but if you're supposed to be the superior race of the universe, why don't you try climbing after us? Which is the Doctor and Co. climb up a rope, and a Dalek who's tailing them can't follow.
See, this serial is the first time since Robot I actually remembered to write down a quote for that.
Since Robot?
Yeah, I know. I only remembered that I had this, and I wrote down, oh look, rocks.
Since Robot? You haven't written anything down since Robot? I have the most that I've ever written down, probably just because the fourth Doctor.
Yeah. I mean, I've got quotes, I just didn't write them down. I've got them memorized.
Yeah, okay. We'll see.
Don't worry.
We shall see.
It'll be a great retrospective. So anyway, the Daleks come in, and the Dalek's like, if you come any closer, I'm going to blow Davros and myself sky high with this remote-controlled detonator.
Yeah, they find some bombs that can be either detonated right then and there, or remote-controlled, or detonated with a sonic screwdriver.
I just want to know why the Doctor didn't just stick a bomb to Davros and hightail it out of there when Romana and... what's his name again? Tyson left, and then just blew it up when he left. Did he have to do this whole suicide pact with Davros?
I don't know. I guess he didn't. I guess he felt it was wrong to kill Davros. Then again, he kills some Daleks later on with no remorse at all. So I don't know.
Maybe he respects Davros as a scientist, which would be really weird.
Yeah,
kind of
that would be really weird. Especially since he says that Davros is almost as great a scientist as he is. So clearly he thinks himself superior.
That's not surprising.
Yeah, considering who he's played by. Anyway.
Brutal. Nothing but truth on this show. So, the Doctor eventually gets the Daleks to free all of their slaves in exchange for Davros.
Well, actually, the Daleks show up, and the Doctor... We mentioned this. The Doctor says, one wrong move, and I blow Davros to smithereens. And then they decide to start killing slaves until the Doctor submits. So they do that. This is pretty dark. They actually bring some slaves over and kill them right then and there. And the Doctor says, stop. If you keep doing that, I'll blow Davros to smithereens, which was the same thing he said before. Mm-hmm. And they're like, okay, we'll stop.
Yeah, well, Davros tells the Daleks, hey, his logic is clouded by emotion, so he's not going to be totally logical. And the Daleks like, oh, I guess we'll stop then.
Yeah, that comes into play a little bit later. And at this point, I was like, oh, there's no more crazy Dalek? There's always that one Dalek who would just, they'd all be like, exterminate, exterminate. And there would be one who would be like, exterminate, exterminate. And then there wasn't here yet. I think he shows up in episode 4.
Maybe Roy Skelton was toning it down a bit. Oh, you're talking about the Dalek who gets his eye covered?
Yeah.
Okay. So the Doctor does escape. He gets them to stop killing all their slaves and, destroying their own workforce.
Yeah. Well, they found Davros, so, I mean...
Yeah, but they can use those slaves on other planets. I can't believe I'm justifying them keeping slaves. Well, regardless, the Doctor gets the Daleks to free the slave workers, and they all run away and start hiding because now the Daleks didn't want to free them, so they go around trying to kill them.
Yeah.
As do the Mavellans, I might add.
Yeah. At this point, I also had the idea that it would be great if K9 could face off with a Dalek, so it was a shame that he wasn't in this.
That's actually the reason why Terry Nation wrote him out of this script, was because he didn't want K9 overshadowing his Daleks.
Wow.
I know, I looked up a lot of production information for this serial. Well, it was all just on the same page as the David Goodison thing, so... yeah, so that's why they wrote out K9, which I was really upset about, because I wanted to see K9 and the new Romana have witty banter, just like he used to have with Mary Tam.
Yeah, and K9 with a Dalek, I mean, come on.
Yeah, that would have been actually really fun to watch. They're just shooting themselves in the foot by writing out K9. I think that's what decided,
yeah. Shooting themselves in the treads, whatever K9 uses.
Wheels? I don't know.
No, I think he has two little tread things. I believe. I don't know.
Like tank treads?
Yeah, I think. That's what it is. But I'm not entirely sure. But that's not important because he doesn't show up at all.
I was going to say the only time I've seen him flipped over is when he was filled with paper shavings in Stones of Blood. But anyway, yeah, the Doctor escapes. Meanwhile, the Mavellans have revealed they have this device, this doomsday weapon called the Nova device.
Yeah.
That basically vaporizes the atmosphere of any planet that you use it on.
Yeah, they do this contained experiment where they activate the device in sort of this cylindrical area that they've quarantined off. They have a little tube, and it bursts into flame, just the atmosphere inside the tube. And one of them mentions that if it were to be done without the containment device, the entire atmosphere would be set on fire immediately.
Yeah, so then they realize that they need the Doctor for whatever nefarious plans they have. This is basically when you start to realize the Mavellans aren't really good. They're actually kind of also evil.
Yeah.
Because they trap Romana in one of those tubes with the Nova device.
Yeah, but Romana also sees the Mavellan who was supposedly killed. And she's like, how are you back? And that's when the Doctor convenes with Tyson, because he escapes too, and reveals that the Mavellans are actually robots. So it's one race of robots versus another.
Well, the Daleks aren't fully robot, because they've got the Khaled mutant inside.
So
there's also a really dark scene where the Doctor just picks up this goop and is like, Khaled mutant. Oh yeah, the Daleks used to be you guys. And I was like, okay.
I think that's what clued him into maybe the Mavellans aren't human.
I was like, that's disgusting.
It looks. I guess it was like heated. I don't know what it was that they used for that, like heated silly putty, something like that.
It looked. I don't know how to describe. It looked like a stress ball.
Yeah,
that's what it looked like, but
way
bigger.
Deformed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe he killed the Khaled by tossing it onto the ground. He kind of throws it.
Maybe it was dead already.
Who knows?
So the Doctor finds Romana trapped in a tube with the Nova device. And it's like, poor Doctor. First he thought Romana was dead. Now he finds out she's in a tube filled with a device that's going to basically vaporize her.
Yeah. And, in Power of Kroll, we had the disappointing countdown clock. Armageddon Factor, we had the slightly better countdown clock. And here we have just the unfair countdown clock. Because I don't know if you noticed, but
the ticks weren't aligned with the visual.
It was going like two numbers per second.
Yeah.
It wasn't seconds, it was just numbers counting down.
Maybe it's Mavellan seconds.
Yeah, I don't know. But into episode 3, we find out that it really doesn't matter, because Agella didn't arm...
You mean 4? You said episode 3. It's episode 4.
Oh yeah, episode 4. Agella didn't arm the device. As soon as it hits 0, it goes to 9,999.
Thank God for that. It's a really dark day when you see the Doctor's companion vaporized.
Yeah. I wonder what's the worst way to go? Getting vaporized or getting shot out of an airlock?
Well, if you get vaporized, you probably wouldn't feel it. It would probably just be instantaneous. If
yeah,
you
but
get
getting shot out of an airlock, that would be like almost instantaneous.
But you'd be conscious for it, is the thing. Like if you get vaporized.
Yeah, she was conscious for the vaporization too. I mean, she was sitting there, kind of.
I guess it would depend whether you felt if the vaporization was quick enough that you would feel it or not.
I don't know.
Because getting shot out of an airlock, like, it's instantaneous, but you will feel the air get sucked out of your lungs.
But then you wouldn't care because you'd be... I don't know why we're discussing this. But...
Yeah, then you get compressed or explode by non-pressure, whatever, science. Anyway, yeah, but they reveal that they want the Doctor to reprogram the war machine, which is what the Daleks have revealed to Davros too. It's basically
Yeah.
two computers controlling a war against
And
each
that's
other.
why they're at a stalemate. The Doctor and Romana make this demonstration using rock, paper, scissors. They play a couple times. The Doctor wins like a couple times, and Romana also does. And the Doctor plays with, or no, the Doctor has two Mavellans play, and they always come out as a stalemate because they're perfectly logical.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the how their war has gone. Is that neither side has made a move because they're waiting for the perfect time to make the move, but that time will never come. So that's why they need Davros, because he's not fully Dalek, so he still has sort of that human reasoning. He's not a human, call it reasoning, but
and that's why the Movellans want the Doctor or Romana.
They
I guess.
decide they want the Doctor right then and there.
I don't know why they couldn't just do it with Romana. Romana's like at
Also
least as intelligent or more intelligent than the Doctor.
Yeah. But, yeah. No, I think they actually make mention they need one of them. I think they say we need... I don't know. But I think they say that we need either of you. Something, and they just decide they need the Doctor.
Yeah, and the Doctor demonstrates the concept of why nine of them will win by playing rock, paper, scissors with Romana for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's how they try and cover up their plan to escape, which doesn't work because as soon as they try and run, they are immediately seated again by a Mavellan who's right there holding a gun. Meanwhile, Lan, the Mavellan who we thought was dead, was told by Cheryl to go set the Nova device and sacrifice himself to destroy everything else.
Yeah, they decided someone had to stay behind to make sure the Nova device actually went off, and they couldn't just leave it to automation because automation can fail.
And because the Daleks can come by and disarm it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Davros has strapped bombs to 10 Daleks. No, 9.
9, yeah, you're right.
The Doctor straps the bomb to the 10th one. And tells them to go blow up the Mavellan ship.
Yeah.
It's sort of a Hitler-esque tone, I guess. I think we made that parallel last time, too.
Yeah, well, I think...
Genesis.
He doesn't necessarily supposed to be Hitler, probably more like one of those Nazi scientists that's really famous, like the one that escaped to South America, Eichmann. But he was definitely channeling probably Hitler in this scene. Because he's a scene where he's pacing back and forth amongst the Daleks, telling him what to do.
Rolling back and forth.
Well, yeah.
They see him rolling.
They hate him.
They obeying.
Oh, they... But his plan is to send them to go destroy the Mavellan spaceship. Basically, suicide bomb.
Yeah.
He's basically pulling from Japan in World War II now.
Kamikaze Daleks.
And, well, while this has all been going on, the slaves have been accumulating weapons from the Mavellans because Tyson knows they're robots, so they're gathering Mavellan weapons by disabling their power packs. And they basically assault the Mavellan spaceship to free the Doctor.
There's this huge scene with tons of death. Well, tons of death if we were counting the Mavellans, but we're not, because apparently they can come back to life as long as their circuitry isn't too damaged. It looks like they do.
Yeah, if we were counting the Mavellans, there'd be like 20 more deaths on this thing.
I only counted 7, but that's besides the point. So, meanwhile, the Doctor has decided to go confront Davros himself, and he does so. He breaks back into the Dalek ship. And...
then gets ambushed by a Dalek.
Yep, he tells Davros... Davros has the detonator for the Daleks who he strapped bombs to, and the Doctor says, well, what's to stop me from pressing the button now before they reach the ship? And that's when he's ambushed by the Dalek.
Oh, we forgot to mention the Doctor blew up 2 Daleks who took... because when the Doctor escaped from Davros earlier, he left a bomb on Davros, and then some Daleks took it off.
Oh, yeah.
There's this humorous scene where Davros like, get it off! Get it off! And the Daleks are like, understood, obeying, and they pick up the bomb with their little plunger hand, and they're like handing it between each other, and then it blows up.
Yeah.
Because the Doctor blows it up with a screwdriver.
Yeah, the Doctor killed, 12 Daleks this serial?
Yeah. Yeah, so he chucks his hat onto the Dalek behind him, which covers his eye stalk.
Yeah, and then we finally get the crazy Dalek again. Visual ability impaired! Visual ability impaired!
and it spins around in a circle, starts randomly shooting.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to shoot Davros, and I thought that would have been hilarious.
Yeah, for all this talk about logic, you wouldn't think that it would just start randomly shooting, but it does.
And Davros is like, not me, you fool! But the Doctor straps a bomb to him and blows him up.
Yeah, and then I guess we both had different interpretations of this scene. You thought that Davros tried to detonate the Daleks, but the Doctor tried to stop him. And I thought that the Doctor just used Davros' own hand to detonate them. So that, like, I don't know, maybe the blood wouldn't be on his own hands, but
At this point, I think the Doctor just thinks he should kill off all the Daleks.
Yeah, well, that's
maybe he's starting to regret.
Yeah, well, the Time Lord gave him 3 options, and there's only one left open. Genocide.
Even says in the serial, I think, like, I had the opportunity to kill them all.
Yeah, well, he does. He detonates the Daleks who have gotten to the ship, and
well, he doesn't kill anyone. He blows them up before they get to the ship.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Romana's
they're
not at the ship.
Oh
they're
shoot,
like
the Nova device, because Agella, I think, has gone off to go detonate it because I think the Movellan who was guarding it got killed or blown up.
I don't know actually, but she remembers the Nova device, and Cheryl has. I guess in the little battle they had on the Movellan ship, Cheryl's like, oh no, the Nova device. So he's stumbling around trying to activate it, but...
he has a scuffle with Romana, and I'm like, oh no, they're getting the pink frock dirty, and the white scarf, I might add, the white scarf in the rock quarry.
Yeah, well, it's...
But
I mean, there's this... the swamp and Power of Kroll and everything, but whatever.
They save the day.
Yeah, doesn't Cheryl's arm get ripped off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Cheryl dies. Maybe that's sufficient circuitry damage to die.
I don't believe so. I didn't count it.
You're not well versed in Movellan anatomy?
No, I'm not.
Well, the Doctor and Romana meet up with everyone on the ship again. They're like, well, another day saved. And then they run away from the ship. They're taking Davros to Earth to be put on trial.
Yeah, they cryogenically freeze Davros.
Yeah, you just know they did this so that they can bring him back in a later serial.
Yeah, on Earth maybe, possibly. But hey, I wouldn't want them to kill off Davros. He's a pretty cool villain.
Maybe we get a scene of him just wandering through London going, what is this? What is this? But yeah, so Davros kept alive once again. Terry Nation realizing the error of his ways on the Daleks, the first serial. Keeping his villains alive. And the Doctor and Romana make it to the ship.
And they move the boulders covering the TARDIS.
You mean the really obviously styrofoam boulders?
Yeah. And I wonder, why even bother burying the TARDIS in the first place? I mean, it's not like it's in character for the it's in character for the Doctor and Romana to want to explore.
Yeah.
So they didn't need to block off the TARDIS, and in the end, they just moved the boulders anyway with no problem. So, whatever.
It was just the way of the week to write out the TARDIS, I think.
Yeah, but they didn't really need to.
No, but they did anyway.
I mean, it's Terry Nation, so possibly a callback to what they used to do, which is, the try and decommission the TARDIS in some way for the serial. They don't really do that anymore. So,
yeah, and there's a scene where the Doctor says that whoever made the first mistake logically would have won the war because you just needed to do what the computer didn't tell you to do. And then Romana's like, is that why you always win, Doctor? Because you make mistakes? And he's like, what? Yes, I suppose it is. And then they go into the TARDIS and he pulls a switch and Romana's like, not that switch, Doctor. And he's like, oh yes, of course. See, they've still got their witty banter going on. It's still Romana and the Doctor. It's just Lalla Ward instead of Mary Tam. I actually found out by listening to Flight to Entirety that Mary Tam recommended Lalla Ward to replace her as Romana, apparently at the end of filming of the Armageddon Factor. So there you go. Destiny of the Daleks.
Well, I feel like Romana's character might start being that damsel in distress a little more. We kind of saw it here a little bit, and that's specifically why Mary Tam left, so perhaps that might be the case.
Well, either that or I think Lalla Ward will take a more active role in trying to make her character what she wants to be rather than Mary Tam's slacting, as I've just coined it. Just coined a new phrase.
So this serial, like Destiny of the, like Destiny of the Daleks, like Genesis of the Daleks, it relies heavily on a previous serial. I mean, this relies on Genesis. Genesis relied on what we knew about the Daleks before, and that kind of works. It allows them to keep the story moving and just jump kind of right into it. You know who Davros is. No need to set anything up. You know who the Daleks are. The Movellans are introduced well, so it allows the story, I guess, to move at a quicker pace than it may have otherwise done. Possibly. I'm not sure. No, I mean, we can't be sure because that didn't play out like that, but
I mean, definitely.
It felt enjoyable, especially since Davros is a very cool villain who we've only seen twice so far.
Yeah. I don't know. If they did another Dalek serial, though, I think I'd want them to keep him out of it for one and then bring him back in the one after, just so that we don't get overexposed to him like we did, say, with the Master.
I guess. Well, I want to see him on Earth. They're taking him to Earth, so hopefully he gets a serial on Earth.
I mean, if they do bring him back next serial, then I'm hoping the serial after that doesn't have him.
Well,
I mean, I'm just saying that I think
next serial.
I mean, next Dalek serial.
Oh.
I just don't want to get overloaded on Davros type thing, right?
Yeah, of course, I wouldn't want a whole season of Davros, but well, maybe I would. No.
Because at some point they'll just start undermining his character, and then it's just.
Yeah, he'll feel like less of a threat the more he appears. We've mentioned this with the Daleks themselves. That's kind of not valid anymore since they only appear, or they hadn't appeared in like 5 years.
Yeah,
or like
that's why they brought him back.
6+ months for us, but I don't know. One thing I really, to completely change the subject here, one line I really liked from this serial, kind of cheesy, but. I guess Cheryl is discussing how, with the Doctor and Romana, how they're at a stalemate. Both the computers are completely logical, and that neither side has fired a shot yet. And the Doctor's like, "Oh, well, you found the perfect recipe for peace, then." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I guess they have. If they just stay at war forever, then."
Then the whole galaxy is better for it, I guess, because they both want to take over the universe, right?
Yep. And I mean, if they stay in their little stalemate, then...
Their little deadlock? Well, you just know the Daleks are going to try to bust Davros out of intergalactic prison. Maybe the next serial will get like a jailbreak-style serial with the Daleks trying to bust Davros out and the Doctor trying to stop him. That could be cool.
Maybe they'll retcon Dalek Invasion of Earth as them trying to get Davros back.
That could be cool.
Although it doesn't make sense because Tyson is from Earth and he's like an astronaut.
And this serial's pretty definitively set like in the future.
Maybe they'll try and retcon it anyway. No, I doubt they will.
But I think that would be cool with a jailbreak, and the Doctor has to stop him from getting in.
I don't know.
I'm just looking forward to seeing more of Lalla Ward as Romana.
Yeah, we shall see. And K9, who this season is not played by John Leeson.
Right. Email us at thedoctor@decorativevegetable.com. Questions, comments, concerns, angry rants. Dreams you've had about Doctor Who?
About Davros. Do you dream of Davros?
No, I dream of Romana, apparently. Apparently I was the Doctor. This is why I'm losing my sanity, Keon. Check us out on iTunes at Trust Your Doctor. Check us out on YouTube at Trust Your Doctor. Leave a rating if you like the show. Leave a review as well. I don't know. Give us constructive criticism. Maybe you just hate our voices. I don't know. And don't forget to check out our crossover with Flight Through Entirety. That goes out on Wednesday, and we are covering the book The English Way of Death.
Check us out on Facebook, Trust Your Doctor. Like us on Facebook. Check us out on Twitter at TYD Podcast. Follow us on Twitter. And next time, we watch City of Death. But until then, the end.